Michael Jackson was born on August 29, 1958 in Gary, Indiana. He came from a big working-class African-American family. Right from the start, music was a huge part of his life. He was the eighth of 10 children born to Catherine and Joseph Jackson. His childhood had both tough times and good chances. His father worked in a steel factory, but he also dreamed that his kids would become famous in music. Joseph was very strict and sometimes too harsh, but he helped turn Michael's natural talent into something amazing. Even when he was little, Michael was special. He had a natural way of performing on stage that was way beyond his age, and a voice that mixed power, soul, and sweetness in a remarkable way. Michael's first big break came when he joined the Jackson 5, the family band that went from small beginnings in Gary to becoming huge stars at Motown Records in the late 1960s. He performed with his brothers Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, and Marlon, and Michael became the clear star of the group. Songs like I Want You Back, ABC, and I'll Be There showed off his amazing voice and exciting energy. The Jackson 5 weren't just another pop band. They were a sensation, bringing fresh excitement to fans all over the world. Michael was still just a kid, but he was handling incredible fame. And yet he did it with a skill and talent that seemed almost magical. As Michael got older, it was obvious that he wanted to do more than just be in the group that made him famous. He wanted to be a solo artist and make music that was deeply personal and totally his own. His big moment came with the 1979 album Off the Wall, produced by Quincy Jones. The album was eye-opening, an exciting mix of disco, funk, and soul that showed Michael as a powerful artist on his own. With hits like Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and Rock With You, the record sold millions and won praise from critics, getting him ready for what would become an incredible career in music. The world would never be the same after Thriller came out in 1982. It was more than just an album. It became a cultural sensation, breaking sales records and changing what popular music could do. Thriller is still the best-selling album of all time, proof of how much people loved it and how magical it was. Every song from Billie Jean to Beat It to the title song, Thriller became a hit, with groundbreaking music videos that changed MTV and revolutionized how people watched and listened to music. Michael didn't just make songs. He made visual art, turning his music into movie-like experiences. His dance moves, especially the Moonwalk, became instantly famous, inspiring generations of performers and fans everywhere. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Michael Jackson's influence only got bigger. With albums like Bad in 1987, Dangerous in 1991, and History in 1995, he kept pushing limits both in music and visuals. Songs like Man in the Mirror, Black or White, and Heal the World showed not only his artistry, but also his deep wish to use his fame to share messages of peace, unity, and healing. Michael was more than just an entertainer. He was a global ambassador of music, someone who could bring people together across cultures, languages, and borders. His concerts, often watched by hundreds of thousands, became almost religious experiences with fans fainting from the sheer power of his presence. Michael Jackson's personal life, especially his marriages and children, was often talked about and examined just as much as his legendary career. His first marriage was to Lisa Marie Presley, the daughter of rock and roll legend Elvis Presley and actress Priscilla Presley. The marriage between Michael and Lisa Marie, which started in 1994, was one of the most talked about celebrity marriages of that time. Many people at first thought their relationship was strange, believing it might have been a publicity stunt or a business deal rather than real love. However, people who knew the couple often said that Michael and Lisa Marie did share a deep connection, at least in the beginning. Michael admired Lisa Marie's strength, independence, and her unique view on life as the child of one of the most famous entertainers in history. Lisa Marie was attracted to Michael's unmatched artistry and his sensitive, vulnerable nature. Their whirlwind romance was heavily covered by the media, with memorable moments like their kiss at the MTV Video Music Awards in 1994, shocking the world. Yet, despite moments of real affection, their marriage faced huge pressure. Michael's private lifestyle, constant tabloid rumors, and the weight of both their family legacies created problems. After 2 years, in 1996, the couple got divorced, though Lisa Marie has talked in later years about how much she cared for Michael and the complex, lasting connection they shared, even after breaking up. After his divorce from Lisa Marie, Michael Jackson soon got into his second marriage with Debbie Rowe, a dermatology nurse who had been part of his medical team for many years. Michael and Debbie married later in 1996, and their relationship was very different from his previous one with Lisa Marie. While the marriage was less public in terms of dramatic appearances or Hollywood glamour, it was important because it gave Michael the chance to have something he had wanted deeply, children of his own. Debbie Rowe has described their marriage as unconventional, with her role centered around giving Michael the family he always dreamed of. Their marriage resulted in the birth of 2 children, Michael Joseph Prince Jackson Jr., born in 1997, and Paris Michael Catherine Jackson, born in 1998. Michael was thrilled to become a father, often saying how his children gave his life a new sense of purpose and fulfillment beyond music and fame. However, the marriage itself didn't last long, and by the year 2000, Michael and Debbie had divorced. Despite the end of their marriage, Debbie and Michael remained connected through their children, and she let Michael take on the main role of raising them, as he always wanted to give them the most loving and protective environment possible. In total, Michael Jackson became the father of 3 children, all of whom played a huge role in his life and legacy. Along with his 2 children with Debbie Rowe, Prince and Paris, Michael later welcomed his 3rd child, Prince Michael Jackson II, famously nicknamed Blanket, now known as BG. Born in 2002 through a surrogate, Blanket became a constant presence in Michael's world during his final years. Michael's approach to being a father was deeply protective. He often shielded his children from the constant attention of the media, sometimes going to the extreme of having them wear masks in public to keep their privacy. Despite criticism and curiosity from outsiders, people who knew Michael best have consistently described him as a devoted, loving, and hands-on father who put his children's well-being above everything else. He often said that his greatest joy came not from performing to sold-out stadiums, but from spending quiet, private moments with his children, whether reading stories, cooking meals, or simply playing with them at his Neverland Ranch estate. His children have continued to. Michael Jackson's marriages and role as a father remain key parts of his human story, showing a man who, despite the unmatched fame and pressures of being the king of pop, wanted most of all genuine love and the chance to build a family of his own. For decades, Michael Jackson has been one of the most celebrated yet most mysterious figures in the world of entertainment. His voice, his dance moves, and his image captivated millions. But behind all the glittering performances was a man tormented by secrets that few ever fully understood. Fans and critics alike have guessed endlessly about what truly defined the king of pop, what pushed him to such extremes, and why his story ended the way it did. The truth, when looked at closely, isn't comforting. It's unsettling. The mystery of Michael Jackson's life has finally been pieced together, and it reveals a tragic tale of pain, pressure, and choices that had devastating consequences. At the center of this mystery is Michael's lifelong struggle with identity. From the time he was a child, thrust into the spotlight with the Jackson 5, Michael lived under an intense microscope. His father, Joseph Jackson, was known for being harsh, demanding perfection from his children, and using discipline that Michael would later describe as close to abuse. "My father scared me so much that I would literally get sick," Michael once said. This early trauma created scars that never healed, and it shaped his obsessive desire to escape into another version of himself, a version he thought the world would love more. The public often focused on Michael's changing appearance, his skin condition, and his series of cosmetic surgeries. Rumors went around endlessly, and Michael would sometimes defend himself. "I'm telling you the truth. I have a skin disorder," he said, talking about vitiligo. Yet, even beyond the medical explanations, there was clearly a deeper issue. He was never comfortable in his own skin. The boy from Gary, Indiana, who once sang Motown hits with innocent joy, was no longer visible in the mirror he looked into each night. What people saw instead was a man who seemed to be erasing himself piece by piece, try to disappear behind masks of fame, wealth, and reinvention. Then there was the crushing weight of fame itself. Michael Jackson didn't just become a star. He became the most famous human being on Earth. His album Thriller remains the best-selling record of all time, and his concerts drew crowds of unimaginable size. Yet, this success came with a price. "I can't go anywhere. I can't be me," Michael once said sadly. Privacy didn't exist. Friends betrayed him. Reporters camped outside his home. Every smile, every gesture, every rumor was amplified and picked apart. The mystery here was never whether Michael Jackson loved his fans. He did, but whether he could survive the tidal wave of pressure that fame forced upon him. Ultimately, he couldn't. The darkest part of the mystery involves the accusations and controversies that haunted him for years. Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch, which he intended as a dreamlike escape from the harshness of the world, instead became the focus of scandals that damaged his reputation forever. "I would never hurt a child. I love children," he tearfully told interviewers. Many believed him, while others doubted. The legal battles, the media circus, and the humiliation took their toll. The Michael Jackson mystery here is whether he was a victim of malicious attacks or whether his blurred boundaries opened the door to suspicion. Either way, the truth isn't good because it left scars on both him and those around him. Perhaps the greatest tragedy was Michael's dependence on substances to numb the pain, both physical and emotional. His grueling performances and constant surgeries left him with chronic pain. His sleeplessness, born from years of anxiety, became unmanageable. To cope, he relied on powerful medications. "All I want is to sleep. Just let me sleep," he reportedly said to his doctors. That plea eventually led to the use of propofol, an anesthetic that should never have been given outside hospital. It became his escape from reality, but also the very substance that killed him. The mystery of Michael Jackson's final years is especially heartbreaking. Surrounded by enablers, pressured into massive comeback concerts in London, and unable to say no, he spiraled further. The people who should have protected him instead pushed him harder. His death in June 2009 shocked the world. But when looked at closely, it was almost inevitable given the path he was on. The king of pop had become a prisoner in his own kingdom, his crown weighing heavier than anyone could imagine. When a mystery is finally unraveled, it shows that Michael Jackson's life was not just about superstardom, moonwalks, and platinum records. It was about a boy who never had a chance to grow up normally, a man who tried to heal his childhood wounds by building a fantasy world, and an artist who gave everything to his craft until nothing was left of him. "I just wanted to be loved," Michael once said. And those words might be the truest key to understanding the entire enigma. The final answer to the Michael Jackson mystery isn't glamorous. It isn't the kind of story fans want to hear, but it is the reality. Behind the magic was a man undone by the very forces that made him a legend. And that in the end is not good. It's tragic. Michael, you changed the landscape of music and performance forever. Your artistry, your passion, and the way you connected with millions of people across cultures and generations is something that can never be replaced. Beyond the fame and the controversies, you were a human being who gave so much of yourself to the world. I want you to know that people still love you, not just for your music, but for the way you inspired them to dance, to dream bigger, and to believe in something magical. I'd remind you that your legacy continues, and that even after all the hardships and the misunderstandings, your art remains a light in people's lives. Most importantly, I tell you I hope you found the peace, love, and acceptance in that world that sometimes seems so hard to find in this one.